You know, I didn't expect to dive in headfirst into this hobby, but here I am, building another keyboard. I guess the endgame setup is sort of a mythical creature that moves from one place to another, kind of like Princess Peach when Mario reaches the castle but meets a toad instead. But anyway, until that day, we build. Alright, so in this episode, we'll build the Monokei KFE CE I got from the spot sale last January. We'll go through the unboxing, the build from start to finish, the choices of switches, and then keycaps. We'll also go over the cost of the build. Do stay tuned in the end for the sound test. So, let's go. What is happening, folks? Welcome to another episode of Mech Builds. Mech Builds is a segment where we build custom mechanical keyboards from unboxing to finish. In this episode, we'll build a TKL or a 10 keyless board called the KFE CE, released by Monokei. The KFE CE is a TKL board designed by Beaming Robot and Bisoromi and was released by Monokei. They collaborated with Heine for the PCB design. The KFE CE is a top-mount 10 keyless form factor board with a 4-degree typing angle. The PCB only offers a soldered version but supports both WinKey and WinKeyless layouts and can be configured through VIA. This specific unit was sold on a spot sale last January 9th for 250 units. The spot sale came in with an aluminum and PC plate, but they are configured only for a 7U bottom row, or what is now called a Tsangan layout. Some trivia for you, the term Tsangan layout or Tsangan was coined after a geek hack mod named Tsangan who kept requesting for a 7U support for key sets. Eventually, Keycaps came in with an additional 7U modified kits on release. Okay, going back. The spot sale kit also came in with both aluminum and brass weights with the Monokei and Bisoromi logos, which I think are cool. The brass plates though came in at an extra cost. The KFE CE originally came in with 6 different colors and a PC case, with black coming in as a very limited version. The spot sale featured white as a colorway option, but during the pre-order, they replaced the white with silver. So I think it's safe to say that the black, PC, and white variations were only limited on the spot sale. The group buy is set to be fulfilled during late fall of 2021. Alright, so let's go to the unboxing. I think they did a great job in the box design and its quality, plus the touch of class with the card. The unit is covered with a cloth that has the Monokei logo. You can see that the logo placement with the cover is spot on in the center. I chose the royal purple with classic white accents. I always wanted a purple or lilac board and a TKL, so I thought, why not get the purple TKL? Plus, I figured it will work well with the keycaps I have in mind. The unit is also snug fit inside the box due to the foam and keeps it stable during transport. Anyway, so the package contains 2 boxes, the unit and then the accessories. The unit includes the aluminum plate, and if you turn the unit over, you'll see the aluminum weights with the logos of Bisoromi and Monokei, which I think is a creative way of branding the board. It's not like what I typically see wherein the logo or the brand is etched visibly in the front. Sometimes that ruins the style that the user wants. I personally don't like branding on my boards, unless of course it's my brand. I mean, to each his own, right? So this way of branding is really subtle and unique. Plus, the style of the design looks really cool, so I think I'll keep it. I was kind of hoping they offered the choice of picking the colors of the plates and the weights. In this case, if you wanted an all-purple board, you'll have to purchase the alternative color combination of what you got, which defeats the purpose of building an endgame board because now you have 2 of the same boards, though different colorways. Another thing I wish they did was moving the USB port to the middle. For me, that's kind of like the neutral zone for USB placement, especially since most enthusiasts use a specially designed custom cable. It's just a point of worry if you already have a custom cable coiled for a specific side. Aesthetically though, the right or left USB alignments look cooler, especially if you purchase a custom cable specifically for this board, like what I did. Special thanks to Keycoil for making this cable, by the way. Alright, so that's it for the board. Let's set it aside for now. Next up, the accessories. The box contents are very well packaged with bubble wrap, so plus points on that. The box contains the H88C PCB by Heine. Then I got an extra PCB which I plan to convert to hot swap in the future using Mil-Max sockets. I won't be covering that in this video though. I also got an extra brass plate for variation. I find that I am a hard typist, so aluminum plates and brass plates work better for me since they are sturdy to type on. But I plan to use the PC plate that comes with the board just to try the typing experience. The accessories box also includes a Seon sheet used for sound dampening. This is sandwiched between the PCB and the bottom plate to dampen the sound. The one I got was damaged due to the packaging, but it won't affect the purpose of it anyway. I also got 8 pieces of bump-ons, 1 on each side of the board and the wrist rest. Then you have the brass weights, which are properly packed and covered. The weights also feature the Bisoromi and Monokei logo similar to the aluminum weights. And then finally, the CNC milled polycarbonate wrist rest, which is an add-on option for the board. Alright, so now that we're done with the unboxing, let's go ahead and build this baby. As always, test the PCB before anything else to make sure that you're building a fully functional board. The PCB features RGB underglow, but it won't be visible to the case unless of course you have a polycarbonate case or a custom acrylic case. Next up, the stabs for the stabilizers. For this build, I wanted to keep a color theme, so I went to combine a lilac and purple set of C3 stabilizers. I lubed them with Krytox 205 grade 0 and dug the ends of the stabilizer wires to dielectric grease. I also put some stickers where the stabilizer will land to help keep the stab feet stable. This is commonly known as Band-Aid mods. Once the stabilizers are installed, it's time to fit the plate. For this build, I used a polycarbonate plate that came in with the kit, just to try the typing experience. I then started installing the switches on the locations of the stabs to check the fit. Then tested the keycaps on the stabs. This is to check the sound and the wobble before soldering. If you feel that the fit and the sound is good for you, it's time to install the switches. For switches, I went with the Franken-switched lavender housing and double keys cream stems, which I dubbed Ubecakes. Ube is the Filipino term for water yam, which is slightly similar to the lavender's color, and I figured I wanted something more original. But there probably is something coined out there already. Anyway, I used the lavender housing, filmed them, and spring swapped them to 75 grams, 16mm TX springs because I wanted heavy switches. I used the NK cream stems for a more pronounced sound. They are similar sounding to the creamsicles, which is a combination of tangerine housings and novelties cream stems. But this one has a longer travel distance compared to it. For softer plates like this polycarbonate plate, make sure you pull the plate up after installing a switch to avoid bending. This won't be an issue with brass plates, but can also be an issue with some aluminum plates. I kinda wish they installed standoffs in the middle of the board to keep the plates from bending. According to Monokei, there's an issue with step caps lock when using these plates. They were kind enough though to contact their customers and offer replacement plates for free. Though these plates will probably come when the group buy has been fulfilled, it is still a great way to display customer service. One workaround they mentioned is to file the part near the caps lock to extend the switch. After installing the switches and making sure they are properly placed, it's time to solder them. After soldering, it's now time to put together the board. There's an included Seon sheet with the board, so you can put that first before installing the PCB. I also changed the weights from aluminum to brass for additional weight. I like my boards heavy because it adds to the premium appeal. The brass weights are obviously heavier at 307 grams versus the aluminum plates that weigh at 98 grams. After assembling the board, along with changing the weights to brass, the board now weighs around 1.8 kilograms. Alright, so now that the assembly is done, it's time to put on some keycaps. The keycap set I use is the GMK First Love keycaps, which I also featured in the Kano Gen 2 build video. If you haven't watched it, you can click here. Since the group buy for that set has concluded, you'll basically have to go look for it in the aftermarket. I learned that there will never be an R2 for that set, and they currently go around $300 US for the aftermarket price, and sometimes more. I thought this set was perfect for the board since the inspiration comes from the comic book titled Hawkeye by Matt Fraction and David Aja, which started its run back in 2012. Maybe in the future, I'll just design a keycap set around it. Who knows? Or maybe I should just start naming my boards then, right? As an added touch, I included some Artisans I have lying around. So one thing I need to point out here is that this is not an in-stock item, so expect to pay more for it in the aftermarket. I've seen prices range from $700 to as high as $1,000 US for the PC version. But specific to this board, as of April 2021, the cost of this board is around $565 US. The Ubecakes Franken switch costs about $118 in total, and an additional $15 for the 75-gram springs. That gives us a total of $133 for 90 pieces of Ubecake Franken switches. The keycaps cost about $300 US in the aftermarket. The C3 stabs cost about $12 US for one pack. The total cost for the build is $710 US excluding the keycaps. The parts I did not include in the cost is the wrist rest, which cost around $67 US, and the carrying case, which cost around $35 US. In addition, I also purchased an extra brass plate for $56 US and an extra PCB for $60 US. Now your cost can vary depending on the components you put in, like the switches or the keycaps. For cheaper switch options, I'd recommend the Duroc Palm, Tangerines, and Gateron Black inks for linears. For tactiles, I'd go for the Gaju Boba U4Ts, Glorious Pandas, or the Kiwis. At the end of the day, they all come down to preference. Alright, so let me just say that this board looks really great. The anodization is superb, and I couldn't find any nicks or scratches, and the surface feels evenly anodized. The typing feels great, the sound is great, but then again, I think my experience with boards isn't as wide yet. So to me, this sounds way better than the boards I've tried. I mean, I'll get there with just enough boards under my belt soon enough. But the typing feels really nice. It's not wobbly, and the key presses feel really soft on the PC plate. I think I will try an aluminum plate the next time when I mil-max the other PCB for this board. The price just falls around the acceptable range when it comes to high-end customs. It's not overly priced based on my experience of group buys. The spot sale offered more for the value, so I think it's acceptable. I just think that they could have placed the USB slot in the middle, though it's not really a deal breaker, and offering a WinKey option for me is a plus. If you know me, I'm not much of a fan of WinKeyless setups because I miss my WinKey and because of muscle memory. I also think that they could have given an option to buy different colored plates for more customizations, but I think it's more of a theme they wanted to keep. Overall, the KFE CE is a great buy for a board. Sleek, good sounding, and is priced right. Some of the research I made suggests that there are better sounding boards, and they may definitely be true, but for now, I think this one is a keeper. I also like the customer service displayed by Monokei in contacting their consumers during the plate issue. I am in no way affiliated with them, and this is not a sponsored video, so I think that made me trust them more as a company. Definitely will be looking forward to more drops soon. All right, so that's it. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching. I really appreciate the support in this new channel. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe now, and smash that notification bell to get future updates. Again, this is Mech Builds episode number 4. Do stick around for the sound test, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.